Welcome everyone, and welcome to Going Global and What It Takes. Today I'm very excited and delighted to have Nikki Collins, who I'm going to ask her to introduce herself. But yeah, she's amazing. We've been working together for quite some time. I've seen her grow and evolve dramatically. So just give me a very brief introduction of yourself, Nikki, and then we'll take it from there.
So I'm Nikki Collins. I'm a wellbeing consultant, and I have a startup called Max Mind Power that essentially is a teddy bear that teaches children mindfulness and meditation to kind of combat the glowing anxiety epidemic that we're facing in society today. So that is me in a nutshell.
Very good. Thank you so much. Well, my take on this is, and my very brief introduction. So I met Nikki at one of the NLP practitioner courses, I think it was.
Secrets of Hypnosis.
Pardon? Secrets of Hypnosis, that was it. Secrets of Hypnosis. And you said, oh, I'm going to do the practitioner. You started telling me about your ideas and stuff like that. I meet so many people. And I thought, yes, well, listen, it sounds amazing. It sounds amazing. And then all of a sudden you did the practitioner. Then you signed up to the Turning Pro. You did, what else have you done? Have you done the training?
I did training, Master Prac. And I've done basically everything that you've done over the last year.
You've done everything. You've done everything. So I've seen the dramatic change in you. But not only that, what's been amazing to see is how you've managed to create so many different things, how you've taken it from an idea and you've managed to create something that I think is so amazing, is so unique, and so needed. So kind of your story is pretty amazing for someone that I think we probably had around 15,000, 20,000 people training over the years. You definitely stand out, Nikki. So tell me, what have you studied in order to kind of do what you do, apart from obviously the NLP training you've done? But what else did you study?
Well, obviously I studied psychology, and I did my specialization in neuroscience and forensic psychology. I also studied hypnosis. I'm a meditation teacher as well. And God, what else did I do? I'm a qualified yoga teacher, funnily enough, even though I'm the least bendy human being that there ever was. And then obviously I did my master practitioner, my practitioner with you. And off the top of my head, I think that's it.
Well, listen, it's pretty amazing and pretty impressive. So, Nikki, tell us a little bit more about kind of your product, how you came up with the idea, why you came up with the idea, and then we'll go into the process of what you've done in a relatively short period of time. But tell me why you came up with this concept.
Okay, well, when I actually used to be a horse dealer, and I was in a hit and run when I was 19, and I became horrendously disabled and really, really severely mentally ill. I had like a smorgasbord of mental health issues, everything from a really severe case of PTSD to a major depressive disorder. I had it all. You name it, I had it. And I had very bad physical impairments as well. I used to find normal functioning quite difficult, like getting dressed, like going to the toilet, like little things like leaving my house. I went from somebody which was very, very physically able to somebody that was incredibly unable in a short space of time. It was kind of over the course of about 4 years. And over those 4 years, I went from doctor to doctor to try and figure out what was wrong with me. They had an idea, but they weren't really sure. So that kind of wasted time, and then I got worse. And then I still remember the day that I was in seeing a back specialist with my father. And then they said, they spotted something with me and they said, I think there's something else. So they sent me to a specialist. And I remember walking in the door that day and looking up, and I was saying, like, God, what does neuro mean? And my dad was like, I think it's something to do with the brain. I'm not 100% sure. And from that day, everything changed. I remember they took me into a room after they did a number of tests, and they said that basically what was wrong with me was not fixable. That people who they had like abnormalities on the brain, and when they had an impact from a hit and run like I did, they just kind of, their case deteriorated. So I was given a 1 in 1,000 chance of becoming 30% better in the next 10 years, which meant that by the age of 30, generally what happened to people like me was they became bedbound. So I was going to be living in permanent care. And I found that quite difficult to come to terms with. I didn't respond to any medical treatment that they were giving me. I had physio, I had medication, you name it. I tried it. I didn't respond to any antidepressants that would ease kind of my mental symptoms. So I was just in a really, really bad place. So kind of last chance saloon, my psychiatrist at the time said, right, we'll try some meditation because it's great for acceptance. And I was really, really skeptical because I didn't know anything about mindfulness. I had no background in psychology. I came from horses, which is very, very different. So I remember thinking this isn't going to help me, but I started anyway. And I just thought, right, we'll give it a go and see what comes of it. And I got better, and I got close to 100% better in the space of about 6 months. And in the space of a year, I was riding again, I was show jumping, I was doing everything. But I kind of at that point realized that this meant nothing to me anymore, and that I wanted to pursue a career in psychology because this fascinated me, that the mind and the body are directly linked in a way that I think very few of us are kind of like acutely aware of until something kind of happens to you, you know. So then I went on to study psychology. But as I was studying, what became really interesting to me was the prevalence of mental health disorders in today's society, especially among children, because we live in such an abnormal way that a lot of our how we're intrinsically geared to behave and how our brain is designed to operate, it can't fathom the type of content that we receive on a day-to-day basis, be it from social media, be it from TV. And children, their brain is so much more malleable than that of an adult. So naturally there would be byproducts and certain things that that like occur as a result of this stimulus. Seeing the effect that meditation had on me, I thought if there was only a way that there was a kid's character that could introduce children to mindfulness and other complementary psychological techniques. The bear teaches NLP, he teaches CBT, positive psychology, and self-compassion, because I don't believe that mindfulness is brilliant on its own. I think it's brilliant when you can use mindfulness with a focus and incorporate it into your day-to-day life. I know people would disagree with me, but I really firmly think that it's what works for me, you know. So I set about designing a kid's character, one that they could grow up with, they could watch, they could learn, they could interact with, that would teach them everything from how to use mindfulness in their everyday life to even a healthy emotional vocabulary, and one that basically would impact them from early childhood right up to adult life.
So let me ask you a question very quickly, Nikki. So you had your accident at 19, you went to study psychology. How long was that for?
All in all, 5-6 years.
So within 5 or 6 years, so how old were you when you finished psychology?
I'm still studying. I'm still studying. I do different specializations constantly, because I don't believe that you ever stop learning. So basically, I still study always through the Open University.
So how many years were you in it when you decided that you wanted to create something yourself? Okay, because first of all, you were very lucky. You actually had a psychiatrist that, you know, helped you or advised you to do meditation, which is kind of like could have not happened, and then it could have gone completely the wrong way. But the second thing is, so you're already studying psychology, and you think, you know what, it would be really cool if there would be something like this for kids. So how long were you in that, and when did you start thinking of creating this then?
So I was in it about, I think it was my second year when I started studying we were looking at child and family groups. And then obviously how kind of society and everything is linked to the adult later in life. And then it's very Freudian, but I kind of realized that God, everything that happens to a child impacts them right up to adult life. So I know that they're saying now that the brain it has like capacity to change later on in life, but what happens with the child will ultimately affect them, do you know, forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of too depressing.
Absolutely. And so you came up with this concept, this idea, which is now a reality. But I remember you talking to me about this a couple of years ago. So, you know, kind of from the concept to kind of where you are now.
Oh, okay.
Relatively.
So from concept to kind of fruition, basically this started last year, believe it or not. This is actually a really, really quick turnaround. So basically I came up with the idea about 3 years ago, and I started researching it and figuring out the best possible way to do it. Last year I engaged designers, which was actually kind of a bad idea because that ended up turning into something else. Let's just put it this way: when you're starting a business, you have to be sure that who you engage you can trust, and you're not just wasting money, because I wasted a lot of money in a huge amount of time. But basically I started doing a large amount of market research and figuring out what it was that would make this product accessible, engaging, and something that would actually work. From about last year, I wrote the full series of 40 books in about 3 months. That's for my first series. And I started designing a bear with Chinese manufacturers last July, and it arrived in Ireland ready to sell in December. So it was a really, really quick turnaround. I did a number of live events before launch to gauge an idea of with prototypes, to gauge an idea of what my target market were interested in, things that I could change prior to launch.
You've got Max there to show us.
Oh, 1 second.
Quick.
Oh.
So while Nikki, there he is.
There he is.
He is good looking. Who doesn't like a teddy bear? That was such a great concept, such a great idea. So I'm just going to interrupt you there quickly. So look, you were saying about when you get into business, we've got to be careful of kind of where we invest and who we invest time with and money. And because you can spend a lot of money. And I actually put my hand up because guilty, and guilty. Yeah, I've kind of when you're doing new things, when you're learning the hard way, unfortunately, it costs you a lot of money. So I've been there. But one of the reasons I wanted to have Nikki here is because, look, at the end of the day, anyone and everyone that has some kind of brand, either themselves, a product, a book, we're all brands, and we all need to create awareness of what we do. So we're all entrepreneurs in our own mind. We have to, come up with a concept, an idea. We have to put it in motion. I mean, what you've done, my series 1, I wrote 40 books. Like, just like you drop that on the table, that's bloody amazing. So, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of work you've got to put in place, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money. So, you definitely, kind of what you've done and I know you won awards, you've been in all sorts of places. So kind of like, I was very interested in having you on board, Nikki, is because I see you, apart from someone that's obviously very passionate, and you created something that's so unique and so amazing in this world, which is, so appealing and so interesting for people that are in need, especially kids and parents, and, and kind of all the how your books and your teddies help. I particularly love and admire kind of the entrepreneurship and the clarity you've had to develop a lot of the things. So just, again, run us very quickly of the awards, the places and I know you were talking about some of the live events and some of the things you did, the prototypes. Share a bit more about that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So basically, we won in fact, it was the largest award at London Toy Fair back in January in our launch. So that was the Toy Fair Hero Award. So we were up against obviously like Mattel, Tomy, Hasbro. So when I won that, I was under embargo for about 2 weeks before I could announce it, and I literally couldn't keep quiet. I couldn't. It was absolutely phenomenal to think that like a product which I designed less than 6 months ago had come in and been so well received, and that was given to me by a panel of retail and industry experts. So to get that in the industry that I was launching into, that have no interest in mindfulness or anything mental health kind of focused, was really, really fantastic, because it showed me that the world is now realizing that I think anxiety in children is a larger problem than any of us are willing to admit, and that we are going to have to incorporate coping techniques into day-to-day life. So then following that, I won the award. Then on the first day of the show, that evening, I got a call from BBC Breakfast, which was really great. And they were asking, could they come down and meet me and the bear and just talk a little bit about it. So that happened the next morning. Now, when I went down, everybody heard that they were coming from the show. So everybody came down. So the spot that I had was supposed to be longer, but it then became incredibly short, because everybody was like, I have a product, I'm a startup too. And I was like, yeah, put them on as well, because, you know, like how often are you going to get on TV and be able to showcase your brand to so many people? So that was really, really special. And then, God, we've done so much. It's kind of hard to remember it all, you know? But yeah, we've just finished 12 live shows since January 22nd. So that's kind of about 2 to 3 a month. So a lot of my weekends and like...
So explain about these live shows. What is it you do? What are they like?
Okay, so basically, well, obviously I attended Best You EXPO. I do shows nearly every weekend, from business to business shows to consumer shows. And I feel like live events and shows are the best way to gain PR for your business, because I've tried everything. We were talking about losing money, and hey, I've done it. I tried everything when I was launching my business, from print marketing, which I would consider the most comparable to live events in terms of cost, because when you're going for like national newspapers and like big brand magazines, you're going to be dropping the same amount on a stand as you are on a full page or a half page. But I didn't get any response from that. I got nothing. Like, I literally flushed money down the toilet, which is fine, because I'm looking at that positively. It's like, it's out there. It's a point of contact, you know, like, why not? So basically, I do everything from personal development shows where I find a large amount of my target market and then explore other areas. I do general shows as well, such as I did the Ideal Home Show in London for 17 days. I did the Ideal Home Show Scotland. As I did London Toy Fair, which is business, which is a trade show. I did Spring Fair, and I found all of them fantastic. I feel it's great, because you never get an opportunity to get feedback from your target market as well as you do as with a live show. Because with anything you do, you can use Google AdWords, you can use Facebook marketing, you can do all of these things, but you never ever get a chance to actually speak to the people that you're trying to sell to. When you're starting a business, you have to create your ideal avatar, right, of who your target market is going to be. And I have to admit, when I was writing my business plan and I made my avatar, and we were sitting in QB Springer's branding workshop, and she was like, make your avatar, ladies. I did. And then when I did my live events, it turns out that my avatar was not at all who I thought it was going to be. It was somebody completely different. And I would have never known that unless I had gone out, put myself out there and met these people. Because you can do as many kind of different focus groups and stuff like that as possible, but you're never going to touch on so close to what you think your target market's interests are, and then be able to hone in and be like, right, who is this person? Where does she shop? What does she wear? Who are her friends? What does she speak like? And then most importantly, when you have a product to sell and you can sell to this person, you figure out their motives for buying. because whenever you make a sale, somebody always gives you a hint, a justification as to why they're purchasing. And my training in NLP really, really helped me, because as I would going through all the points, the benefits of the product, somebody would always give me a little hint as to why they liked it and as to why they were going to buy. So it gave me great ideas on what my selling points were and how I could market the product moving forward. Because when somebody buys online, you don't ever know why. Like it's anonymous. Like, that's the thing. You're never going to meet this person. All the sales I make through Amazon, through my website, everything, I never get to speak to these people. Whereas at a live show, I can find out why they're buying now, or if they don't, why they're not. Is it something to do with the product? Is it something to do with the selling points of the product that they don't relate to or they can't? Or is it to do with their buying cycles? Because everybody has a time of the month that they can buy, and that's an important thing to kind of realize. We're all in business. I know it sounds kind of crass that I'm talking about sales, but a lot of us do live events and run businesses to make money. You know, we're not all in the lucky position that we can be social entrepreneurs, and you have to sell. And I think the thing about it is, when you learn about what your target market is looking for in a product, what interests them, it's much easier. And then also you can figure out as well how you can expand your brand. Because another thing that came from live events for me, which I found really interesting for meeting people, was that my business had so many different areas that I could expand to, because people kept asking me for the same services, for the same functionality. And now I'm going to be implementing that feedback moving forward, and expanding my business into training, into groups, workshops, and things like that. So it was beneficial from so many perspectives.
I mean, I think one of the things that we were talking about, I was talking last week with Brian, and we were talking about marketing. I mean, look, for someone that obviously, you know, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to be in live events, and how important it is to get your brand out. I mean, what else am I going to say? Because, you know, I run a big personal development event. But the reason I do it is because I think I shared that before. You know, when it's been a lot of hard work for us, you know, build up the expo and create awareness, and trying to convince people, hey, something like this is needed. You know, a place where everyone that has something to share can meet, and those that are looking, seeking, interested in inspiration could also connect. But, you know, kind of, I thought, oh my God, this is just too much hard work, this is, and trying to convince people about, you got to put yourself out there. But then, as I said last time, 12,500 people showed up, and they said, Bernardo, we get it. So anyway, so we're doing it again. But I tell you what I have realized, what I have realized in 10 years of running events and 10 years promoting and marketing, that marketing and the way you can engage or connect with people or get people to buy your products changes so frequently. And I know that kind of like now the trend, and it has been for a few years, Facebook and Instagram, but now with this whole GDPR and kind of what we can and we can't do, I mean, I've noticed, you know, kind of a massive dramatic change in these last couple of months with this whole build up about it, and now not being able to communicate and email with people. So it is more important than ever to be able to, one, take care of your customers, understand who your customers are, like you were pointing out, but second of all, being able to connect and meet them and speak face to face.
I think I find this, especially, I do a lot of Facebook advertising. I use Google AdWords. And look, one thing that I find so beneficial from doing face-to-face and from being at live events is, and I think you'll agree with me on this one, the consumer today, because they are being bombarded with content, are so jaded. You have to do an awful lot on social media to stand out, to get an impression, to get people to stop scrolling. However, when you're at a show, you can get people to stop walking, you know, and that's the thing. Also, people come to a show for an experience. They come to a show to get in a state, and that state means that you can, well, sell to them a lot more easier, because you can't control the state when they're online, when they're in their home. You don't know what's happened to them 5 minutes before. But if you can have a conversation with them, you can get them into state so much easier, because you can impart some of your excitement and your passion and your overall vision in a way that I feel is impossible online.
Absolutely.
Especially because every company now, I think you'll agree with this one, marketing has changed now. People don't like buying from anonymous companies. They like every company to have a story and to feel like they know you. And that is whether you're selling a mindfulness fair or you're a coach. And I think it's more so the case if you're a coach. You need a story and you need somebody to connect with you. And you can see as many people telling their stories as you like on social media. But if you meet that person and you're able to hear them and see their passion and how genuine they are, it makes a huge difference. At a lot of shows now as well, you can give talks. I find that unbelievable because the response I get from people when they come up and talk to me afterwards, and it's so nice because they actually meet you. It's not like you're talking to a chat box online, or they have a problem with your product and they're going on to help. And you know how frustrating it is when you're trying to talk to somebody and all it keeps giving you is different answers when you're on a website. If you can go up and talk to somebody and be like, well, this isn't working for me, what can I do? It means an awful lot to people. And while I know it's consuming in terms of time and everything, when you're building a product and a business that is personal to people, I cannot stress this enough. You have to get personal and they have to meet you. Because people, especially if you're a coach, and I know I'm not, well, I do some coaching, but it's not my primary business. But my business is very, very personal to people because it affects their children, and what's more personal than somebody's child, you know? And a lot of the time, people think that my product is for children that are sick, right? Or they think that if they buy my product, it's an admission that there's something wrong with their child. However, that's not the case. And when they meet me, they can understand that it's a passion that I have, and it's a drive to impart mindfulness to everybody. And that even if your child is the most outgoing, wonderful, well-adjusted child, mindfulness can only help to improve the quality of their life. Whereas if you're a coach and you're looking to help somebody who's in a difficult position, you know, who wants to make a change, I believe it's very, very difficult to make the connection that you need to in order to get them to sign up to do coaching with you online. I just feel like it's impossible. It reminds me of a scene in a sitcom, Frasier,
Yeah.
that, where he was like a radio DJ, and then he goes back into private practice, and it's his first day back in work. And he's got a full book of clients coming in, but every client has a problem with him and leaves after like 5 minutes. And just say, I'm sorry, this isn't working, I have to go, you know? And that's what it's like a lot of the time with coaches. People need to find somebody that they can connect to, and they need to test them out. And at a live event, you can meet so many people, you know, and you have a chance to make that connection with them.
And I think at the end of the day, you know, we have to take ourselves seriously, and that I was sharing that last time. You know, the US and people that are over there, and you know, they see themselves as businesses, and they see themselves as professionals, and they have to invest in time. They have to put the time in to go out there and to create awareness of their brand. A lot of people are very interested in changing the world and helping the world, and that's great. And I think we're all up for that. But ultimately, we are businesses. You know, there's that graphic designer needs paying, that social media expert, those leaflets need to be paid. You know, you want to be able to hopefully go on holiday. or
Girls got to eat. You know what I mean?
Girls got to eat and buy some shoes. So, you know, at the end of the day, we have to put the time out there and go there. And that's what I saw. I saw in the live events that we've been involved in, and in particular with the Expo, we've seen those that, you know, kind of, you know what, they had a stand and it was full. We had people that were at the odd time and their seminar room was full. It's all down to energy. It's down to the work that you put into it. It's down to you, you know, and I've had people with the worst time and the worst speaking slot and the worst booth, and you know what, they were full. So it's down to the time and the energy you put in. But let me share with you quickly. Now, Nikki, you were at the Expo, and I remember you had a really big stand, which looked beautiful.
Really big. It was the
really
biggest.
Big stand. And you drove down in your Range Rover. I remember you bought a bunch of teddy bears, but you didn't bring enough, did you?
I didn't. I sold out on the morning of I was getting display bears, like ones which hadn't been used, but I was getting bears which I didn't even think that I was going to need to sell on the second day. It was wild. Yeah, I took two stands and I merged them into one because I believe it shows you can make a pop-up shop and you can get people into your world, you know, but also as people are walking around, as I was saying, online, they can get jaded, but at a show they can as well. And I'm a firm believer that when you go to a show, you want to make a splash, you want to be professional, and you want to do something which grabs people's attention, make it as colorful as possible, that people stand out and they look at it. Because every person that looks sees your brand name and it's a point of contact. In today's society, you have to have 12 points of contact to make a sale, and that can't all be through social media. You have to get out there. Unfortunately, for some who don't like face-to-face selling, it's something that you have to do. So yeah, I've also kind of upped my game a little bit. Now I work with TVs because I find that really, really beneficial for people that don't necessarily want to talk to me, although I try to force them to. A TV is great running in the background, you know, so that people can watch videos that you've made while you're maybe serving somebody else, or if they're just walking past and they just want to have a look. But I also give out freebies because that's really important. You won't believe the amount of people that will come over and talk to you for a free pen. And hey, look, they're the best marketing. It's one of yours, Bernardo. But like things like that, you know, which people can take away, leaflets, good quality leaflets, little booklets, things like that, you know. I think it's all about how you present and the kind of giveaways that you have at expos too, because people love taking the leaflets, they love taking the pens, you know, and stuff like that. So it's about kind of putting your best, most professional self forward, and also being engaging, stopping people, talking to them, smiling, not just sitting down and kind of like waiting for people to come over and talk to you. It's not a school dance. You're there in a limited space of time and you've got to push yourself, you know, because a lot of the people who you mightn't think want to stop could be shy. You know, you don't know. And a lot of the time, people who maybe look at you a little bit skeptically, I always think, brilliant, this is an opportunity for me to change somebody's mind, because you wouldn't believe the amount of people that walk past and go, you know, and I think, amazing, come here, talk to me, I'll change your world, you know? So,
and it's got to be fun. I mean, I think you're quite right. You see a lot of people that come, you know, they come round and they look at you that way, and then they just carry on walking by because they don't want to engage. But you can see that. Oh, come on, you want to talk over, don't be shy. And then, you know, people start smiling, and you've got to make them laugh. And a lot of the times, people. But I got to say, and again, it's not because it's my event, but it is my event. And the fact is that the energy was electric. I mean, I remember. It was like, you know, these are big events with 12,500 people, 180 speakers. So, you know, one of the things I've been, and the greatest of respect to the business show, which is great, it was really soulless. But this is kind of like, the energy was amazing. The people were amazing. I remember it was Saturday night. We're literally closing at 6 p.m. on the dot because Olympia is very strict with that. And I remember all the seminar rooms were full. Everything was full. And we had to kick people out. And I remember, oh my God, that's so sad.
I know. I was trying to pack up and nobody was leaving. Everybody wanted to stay. But there was dancing, there was music, there was everything. Like, there was such a great buzz. As I said, I've done 12 shows in less than 6 months, and the best you goes down as my highlight, you know, because you did a great job, Bernardo. And I think that when somebody's thinking about doing a live event, and, you know, they're looking for the right show, if they're in personal development, which a lot of people who are involved with the best you are, then I feel like there's very, very few shows that compete with it in terms of the support that you get, both from everybody that works the best you, because you have to remember that a lot of the salespeople which are ringing you are experts in running the event too. They know you should go into this area. There's good footfall for this. You should do this. They're not like telling you things just for fun. They're telling you things that you have a good experience, and it reflects well on their show too, because they want everybody to be professional. have a great time, you know, and then come back next year. But also, you guys gave us great support in the run up to it. We were all allowed to make videos, which were shared by your social media to invite people to the show. And I don't think they realize that the amount of times I sign up for a show, I get no support. I get a listing in a booklet, which is given out to people, or maybe they have to pay for it to say where my stand is. And that's it most of the time. I pay for my stand and I'm left on my own. I have to do all my own marketing. But with your event, it was fantastic because you gave us the opportunity to market, allow people to know that we were there. And you really, really pushed us. You pushed every single speaker. Now, I know a lot of people potentially didn't, like their videos weren't ready or they didn't submit them. So you have to be proactive with this as well. If a show offers you marketing, you have to do it, because otherwise people are going to be coming, and then are they just going to happen across you? A lot of people kind of look at a show before they go and plan what they're going to do that day. So I think when somebody, and especially a show, gives you the opportunity to use their platform, especially with GDPR, because we can't just send out mass emails to people anymore. However, if somebody's submitted and registered for a show, the show has their email and they can then market you towards them if it's allowed, you know. But we're like, it's difficult. It's difficult for us nowadays. So when a show is willing to work with you and put in the extra effort to make sure that everybody, even the exhibitors, have a good experience, then I think that's something that's really important, you know. And people should realize that shows are expensive. And as you were talking about, like, there's a cost implications to everything and you have to invest. But shows are expensive. But I can tell you now, I've tried every form of marketing and they're the most cost effective because, well, one, you can set up show offers and give people promo codes where they can buy online later, or give it to their friends or whatever. So you can track how much business you get from a certain show. And I find that really, really beneficial because all of my shows have worked out fantastic for me afterwards as well. Well, not all. There was one which was terrible. We won't talk about it. But most of them have worked out fantastic for me, even in the aftermath of it. And yeah, like, while it's expensive, the PR that you get is really, really good.
Well, thank you for that, Nikki. And I couldn't have said it better myself. And the bottom line is, yes, we do support. We get the speakers and exhibitors to provide us a video. We upload it. We put it on social media. We put it underneath underneath the speakers and exhibitors' bio. There's a big description there. We do newsletters pretty much as a build-up. We encourage people to review the program. We encourage people to book.
And the Global Summit.
And the Global Summit. And that's it, yeah, because I think one of the important points that people miss out is that we record these talks and people are very focused, I'm going to have a full room, I'm going to have 80 people, 100 people, and pretty much every room was full. The bottom line is we grab that talk and then we put it out there. So there's going to be potentially thousands of people seeing that talk still in the months and years to come. So, and we're offering also the opportunity for people to get some money from the ticket sales as well. So look, there's a guaranteed return on investment. But just to finish off now, what I wanted to say is that I believe that we're all entrepreneurs in the well-being industry, okay? Now, it doesn't matter if you're a coach or a therapist. Everyone that gets involved in this, we're interested in the well-being industry, you know, and we do different things. There's publishers, there's marketers, there's people that teach other experts how to become more or better experts. You know, there's all these amazing people that are there. I just think that we need to see ourselves as entrepreneurs. And that's one of the things that the reason I'm doing these webinars is because unfortunately, I feel there's a lack of professionalism from a lot of people who are scared and understand and don't really understand kind of how important it is to put your brand out there and to get out there. So Nikki, I wanted to thank you because, you know, I think what you've done is amazing, inspiring, it's mind-blowing. And also to see the clarity that you have with everything that you're doing, because I don't know, I think we spoke a couple of months ago or a month ago, and then you gave me an update the other day and I just can't believe, oh my God, you know, kind of what else you're on now. So I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. I'm very excited about everything you're doing, and congratulations, well done.
Thank you, Bernardo. It was a pleasure as always.
No, thank you so much. So for any of you that are interested in finding out a little bit more, I'm just simply going to share the URL very quickly. So simply go to thebestyouexpo.com, thebestyouexpo.com. And if you go there, well, basically it's going to take you to the homepage. And well, we have the one in London, 15th and 16th of February. That's the dates. You just simply go to the page and then get involved, which is book a stand or speak. And, you know, we have all sorts of options for people that are starting, for people that are interested in you know, who are established speakers and thinkers. We have all the rooms as we did last year. We're very excited about a new one, which is called the Best Youth. So we're going to have young kids speaking there and people that are helping kids. So I remember I had an 8-year-old coming and pitching me to speak at the expo, and obviously I shook her hand there and then. I said, "That's it. You're the first confirmed speaker for 2019." And here she is. Actually, I'm just going to share her. I'm going to share her picture very quickly, so you can see. I'm very excited. So I think she's 9. That's it, Yasmin. So Yasmin is our 10 years old. That's it. So she's 10 years old, and she's already speaking. But hey, if she can speak, for those that are still holding fire. But those are the speakers that we've got from last year. If you wanted to see what the program was last year, well, pretty much go to the bottom of the page, Best You EXPO 2018 UK. And there you can see pretty much everyone that we had. There was 180 speakers, as you can see. A lot of women, which we love. Yeah. Women making a massive difference. And that's it. So we hope to see you there. We hope that you are all going to basically get involved in this amazing event. Nikki, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
And thank you for everyone watching, and hope to see you soon. Take care. All the best.